Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this NCAP membership webinar, Donation Driver Solution with our endorsed vendor, Amazon. This webinar is being recorded and will be sent to all registrants afterwards. Today, the Amazon team will show you how you can save your organization time and effort and improve the overall donation process for both you and your donors. There will be a Q&A session after our presentations, and I will now turn it over to Leon Bart-Williams and Brian Cook. Leon, when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. I will go ahead and share my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, for that warm introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Leon Bart-Williams with Amazon Business. On behalf of myself, my team here at Amazon Business, and our partners at One Each, we're really thrilled to present today's presentation, Donation Driver. So before we begin, as Rebecca mentioned, the session is recorded. So the recording, as well as this presentation that you'll see here today, will be made available to your organizations at the conclusion of this session. This is an interactive session, so we like to ask questions, and sometimes you'll see questions pop up in the chat. Please feel free to use the chat if you want to ask us questions. We will have a Q&A session at the end, and we'll likely aggregate all of your questions. When you are leaving a question, please provide your first and last name, your email, as well as your organization, so we can follow up with you at the conclusion of this webinar if we're not able to get to your question specifically. If there is a question that you have after this webinar session, or even during, and you want to ask it later, feel free to reach out to Allie. Her email is listed here, and hopefully Rebecca will drop it also in the chat. Feel free to reach out to us anytime if you have a question. Okay. So we have a very, very tight agenda. Today, we're just going to give a quick overview of who Amazon Business is and what we do for those of you who may not be familiar with us. A quick update on the Associated Accounts program, and specifically the new list that we have available for you, how to access all of the deals and discounts that you'll find in your Amazon Business account. And then the main part of today's presentation is on Donation Driver, a solution that we're extremely excited about. It's been in market for a while now, and we're really happy to bring it to NCAP members so you know a little bit more about it and how it can help your organization. And then, as I mentioned at the end, we'll have time for a quick Q&A session. So this is the NCAP team here at Amazon Business and One Each Technologies. My name is Leon Bart-Williams. I head strategic partnerships for Amazon Business. I've been with Amazon going on 7 years now and working with NCAP the last 3. I'm joined today by my colleague, Casey Cameron. Casey, do you want to say hello?
Thanks, Leon. Thanks for having me. My name is Casey Cameron. I have been with Amazon Business for 3.5 years, and I am the donation driver SME.
Thanks so much. And we're joined by our colleague, Brian Cook, who's an account executive at One Each Technologies, our technology partner, and the one who will be driving today's presentation on Donation Driver. Brian, you want to say hi?
Hello, pleasure to meet everybody. Excited to dive into it. A little background on myself. I'm the lead account executive at One Each Technologies. I'll dive into a little bit more about our company and myself once we get into that donation driver kind of demo.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. And unfortunately, not on the call today, Ali Gurovich, who is your dedicated account executive for Amazon Business. Feel free to reach out to Ali if you do have any questions. Okay, so we'll dive in quickly to an overview of Amazon Business. I'm sure this might be remedial for a number of you who have been on previous webinar presentations before, but for those of you who don't know very much about Amazon Business or anything at all, Amazon Business was launched 10 years ago with the express goal to help organizations with organizational buying. So if you're familiar with Amazon.com, Amazon Business combines all of the selection, convenience, and value you expect from Amazon.com with features that really help your business operations. So whether that's everyday low savings, we have exclusive pricing and quantity discount pricing across millions of products across our marketplace. curated selection. So if you're looking for specific products that apply specifically to your industry, or if you're looking for general products like office supplies, you can find that on Amazon Business. Amazon Business also has free shipping options, whether it's free 2-day shipping, 1-day shipping, or sometimes same-day shipping on millions of products. We have the products in our marketplace and can be delivered to your organizations within a very short period of time. And lastly, we have tax exemption. If your organization isn't taking advantage of our tax exemption program, we definitely encourage you to reach out to your dedicated account executive and make sure that your organization is enrolled in that program, because that can mean additional savings for your organization. A whole host of other benefits with Amazon Business. I won't read this entire list to you, but just wanted to call out a few things under simplifying buying, reducing costs, and supporting your community. So with simplifying buying with Amazon Business, we try to make things as simple and easy as possible so you can get back to serving your communities and your mission. So whether that's reorder lists, just finding the products that you need quickly, being able to add those products to your cart and check out, we try to make that as easy and convenient for you on our platform. We know that a lot of administrators also like to make sure that their organizations are staying compliant and making sure that their employees are buying the right products at the right time. So there are a number of buying policies and administrative policies that you can set within your account to make sure you're driving the right behavior within your organization, whether it's preferring certain products be bought or restricting certain products to be bought. You can do that within your Amazon Business account. We also have a number of reports and dashboards to allow you to get insight into what your organization is purchasing. If you're purchasing in a category where you could be receiving more discounts, we have tools and reports that will allow you to do that, to be able to see that information and be able to act upon it. We also have a number of payment options. As I'm sure some of you may know, Pay by Invoice is one of our popular payment options. Pay by Invoice allows you to purchase a product when you need it, how you need it, as quickly as you need it, without necessarily having the money in the bank account. So Pay by Invoice allows you to pay on 30-day net terms. We've found that this payment option has been extremely beneficial to a lot of organizations that are running very lean operations and might not have that money right then and there to make that purchase, but absolutely need to. And lastly, Amazon Business is about supporting the community. You'll find across our marketplace, we have sellers and vendors who range from female-owned businesses to minority-owned businesses. We genuinely support local sellers, and so your organization can shop from those specific sellers if that is important to you. You'll also be able to download and export reports to share with your board or your community about how you're supporting your own local community. For a whole host of other benefits, but those are just a few. So in terms of savings, we get this question quite a bit. How much can we see in terms of savings across the Amazon Business Marketplace? It really varies. We've taken a snapshot of our 5 largest categories: break room, office supplies, IT peripheral, janitorial and sanitation, and maintenance, repair, and operation. Millions and millions of products across our marketplace. We see savings anywhere between 4 and 22%. It's generally a big swing because it really depends on what you're looking for, seasonality, how much you're ordering, how often you're ordering those products. If there are products that you feel like your organization should get bigger discounts on, that you're buying repeatedly, please connect with your dedicated account executive, have those conversations, because we're happy to help. If you don't know who your dedicated account executive is, please reach out to myself or reach out to Allie, and we'll be happy to make sure you're connected with that person. Okay, so just a quick note on the Associated Accounts Program. We launched this program with NCAP 3 years ago. It is a completely free program for your organizations to join. Joining the program unlocks a whole host of benefits for your members to enjoy, including discounts on business prime plans, discounts on specific Amazon private label products, as well as discounts on shopping lists that we curate. One of the shopping lists that we've recently updated is our Essentials catalog. Our Essentials catalog has up to 2,000 products across office supplies, janitorial supplies, and more. we highly encourage your organizations to utilize that list and see those savings. Lastly, as I mentioned before, pay by invoice. For any organization that signs up, you receive a credit line of $5,000 pay by invoice line of credit. If your organizations do require more in terms of a line of credit, contact your account executive and they'll be happy to work with you. Okay, so how do we find all of these deals and discounts? All very easy. They're all in your lists. I'll show you that on the next slide, but want to quickly just point out there is a new link and code. If your organization hasn't already signed up for the Associated Accounts program, that's not a problem. You have a link and a code here that hopefully Rebecca will drop into the chat. If you are an administrator, click that link, input that code, and within seconds, you'll be connected to the NCAP Associated Accounts program, and you'll start enjoying those benefits. If your organization already has access to the Associated Accounts program and you're already receiving those benefits, you don't need to do anything. Just if your organization hasn't done so, please feel free to take advantage of that. Okay, so how can you find all of the deals and discounts that I just described? You can really find the deals and discounts in two ways. The first and easiest way, the way that everybody typically shops, is just searching. So if you just use your search bar, you can find whatever product you want, and you'll know if you have those specific discounts, and I'll show you on the next slide what that discount will look like. The second way to shop is through lists. Business lists are a very, very easy way where we've actually curated all of the available lists to NCAP members on the left rail. So if you log into your Amazon business account, navigate to the settings, to lists, on the left-hand side, you'll see all of the lists that we have available, whether it's diapers, wipes, and formula, our new essentials catalog, any of the break room janitorial discounts that we've provided in the past, any preferred lists as well, shipping and packaging. There are a whole host of lists that the NCAP leadership group has uploaded to your account, so please enjoy those. Okay, so how do you know you're getting the deals? There are two callouts on each product detail page. When you search for a product, there will be two things that you'll see. One, you'll see the typical price crossed out, the original price crossed out, and you'll see a new price in red that will either be called out as a business catalog price or a custom price. If you see those numbers in red, you'll know that you're getting those deals and those discounts. So we recommend searching for a few products. If you do see them in red, then you're in the right place. If you don't see them, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll confirm if your organization is signed up with the Associated Accounts program, and we'll make sure that if you're not, we'll get you signed up. Okay, so that's it from me. Just want to say again, thank you to everyone at NCAP for the partnership over the last 3 years. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Brian, who will take us through the main part of our presentation today, Donation Driver, a program that we're extremely excited about. And without any further ado, I will stop sharing and I'll allow Brian to take over. Brian?
Perfect. All right, let me get my screen up. All right, and hopefully everybody is able to see
Yes.
my presentation. Perfect. So I'll dive into a little bit about myself here right off the bat, but here's just kind of some bullet points of what we'll be going through. Starting off with myself, as I mentioned, I'm the lead account executive here at One Each Technologies. I handle all new incoming projects. So if you do reach out to us about something, you're going to be connecting with me. Oh, hold on. It looks like, there we go. Sorry, it looks like I had the little bubbles hanging over into my screen there. As I was mentioning, if you reach out on anything, you're going to be dealing directly with me. So I did put some kind of quick ways that you can get in contact with me at the bottom of the screen here in the event you want to take a quick screenshot or pull it from the recording. So with Donation Driver, you're going to hear me say mindful giving. Going to go through some issues with that you may be experiencing with wish lists, in-kind donations, review Donation Driver, mindful giving, kind of explain the difference and what it does. and then go over some donor patterns. So a little bit more background on myself. Half my career was in marketing. I was a marketing director for quite a while. And then I decided to switch over to consultation and kind of account executive roles because I like to problem solve, I like to troubleshoot, and really just help organizations. And so the donor patterns, like whether donation driver or mindful giving is going to be a good fit for you, I want you to at least walk away from this with just some kind of education and some patterns that are going on with donation trends and kind of why in-kind donations, if it's not on your roadmap, it should be in the next couple of years because it's the preferred method for Gen Z and millennials, and they're kind of the up and coming donor generation. And then we'll do a quick little tour of mindful giving. Not going to do a full demo or anything, just an overview to kind of show you all the bells and whistles that we can implement. So diving into kind of the issues that you can potentially run into with in-kind donations. Now, if you currently run wish lists or accept donations physically to your locations, you likely experience one of the following. If you get items to your location, so you receive drop-offs, just because maybe on a flyer or on your website you say we need like bedding for our shelters, it doesn't necessarily mean that people won't show up and just drop off a dirty mattress. And now you got to figure out what to do and how to dispose of it and things like that. So you don't always get the items you specifically need unless you utilize wish lists. But with wish lists, the kind of counter to that is you aren't going to be able to get the donor information. At most, you're likely going to be kind of doing that manual process of digging through a package. You'll be lucky to get a slip with a first name and last initial, which maybe you'll try and tie to your donor database and associate a name with an email, but likely it's just kind of, you got the item, it's great, but for donor experience, it kind of drops off a little bit. So without that information, you're not able to send thank yous to donors, you're not able to provide them with the donation receipts, unable to re-engage them, which is very, very important to follow up and turn those single donations into lifetime donors. And then unable to report on your annual financials. So I know with a lot of nonprofits, it can cause some complications with audits. And then also the same on kind of like the government or community impact side as well, that if you have items on financials, but if it's not directly tied to donors, it's kind of iffy on how you can put that. So bottom line is, if you're not able to provide donors with the opportunity to supply you with what you truly need, you aren't able to properly thank them, it doesn't just cause a kind of poor donor experience for them. It could potentially cause some complex problems with your organization as well, whether it's trying to figure out where to store or get rid of the items that you don't necessarily need or can't use, or some complications on the manual process of going through everything, or potentially kind of fear of audits in that regard. So diving into mindful giving or donation driver, what's the difference as well? So with donation driver, that's what you're going to hear on the Amazon business side. You're going to hear directly with your account executives. Just know it's interchangeable. We've been partners with AWS and Amazon Business for years. And when the concept of donation driver came up, we immediately jumped on the opportunity to partner and build out a platform for them, which we ended up calling Mindful Giving. So just know that it's interchangeable as far as kind of a reference point. Now, the simplest way to look at this is look at it as like a donor lead generator or donor shopping cart. Because what we do is we actually spin up a completely separate site from your standard website, typically park it on a subdomain, which will make more sense when I show you the demo walkthrough. But for user experience, it looks like they're still navigating through your site, branded for your organization with your logo, your color schemes, and then it has campaigns and lists that are curated by your organization. But at the core of it, the platform is designed to solve all those major issues that we kind of just went over with Wishlist. And at the core of it, it's obtaining that donor information. So the system itself will automatically send out a customized thank you note and email the donation receipt to them. You're able to customize that messaging based on campaign. So the example that I have a screenshot here of like a local high school that's doing a toy drive for the hospital, maybe there's some specific messaging that the hospital does want to get across in that messaging, thanking them how to do it, maybe advising them on other items that are needed, and maybe some drop-off instructions as well to really engage that. With the donor info, you're able to re-engage those donors, as I mentioned, convert single one-time donors into lifetime donors. You'll have the full donor order information, so you have accurate financials. And best of all, it's tied to your Amazon business account. So all the cool features that Leon just went over, say you do have discounted pricing on items, you can import some of those lists that you have with the discounted items, pass them along to your donors to really try and optimize on it. Same thing if you happen to be participating in, say, like a rebate program, everything goes through your Amazon business account, so it counts towards that as well. So no more mystery donations. Now, continuing on that, to dive a little bit into the more kind of complexity of what you can do with the donor information is you can provide really customized experiences for donors. So on Mindful Giving, your campaigns, you control the imagery, the description, the items that are in it. So you can really kind of customize the experience from there. But post campaign, after that initial donation, that's where you really can customize the experience, put them into drip campaigns, really engage them over the course of months instead of just that one time thank you and that you hope they come back next holiday season. Try to really tailor them to keep them coming back. You'll also be able to make data-driven decisions based on donor engagement. Everything goes through your Amazon business account, so you can run reports on your Mindful Giving grouping, see what are the most donated items, how frequently they're being donated. So you can kind of maybe take an assessment of, okay, last year we received XYZ amount of these items in donations, but it actually still wasn't enough. So we need to allocate a little bit more to our purchasing department to obtain more of those items, or really double down on trying to get them through Mindful Giving donation-wise. You'll obviously reduce those inefficiencies with in-kind donation and tracking. So no more digging through boxes. I know that there's a couple organizations we've helped that had kind of a whole staff that was just intaking items and searching for little slips with names on it, which ended up just kind of transitioning that they only have one person at this point, because all they need to do is open the box and then it's on its way to where it needs to be. And then really an amazing part of this, which will make a lot more sense in the next couple slides of really optimizing the in-kind donation kind of grouping, is that you're able to add cash donations along with it. So I can donate a $20 bed set that goes to the local shelter, but at checkout, I have the option to add cash along with it as well. So I could add $20, $30, $50, $100 along with that. So it's not just a single one in-kind donation. You can get financial cash along with that as well, because as most of your organizations know, cash really is going to be driving a lot of these programs and initiatives that you're doing. Now, segue into kind of donor patterns and a little bit of did you know. So this is really going to focus on just some information for Gen Z and millennials, just to really drive home that if they aren't on your roadmap right now for optimizing donations, whether it's in kind or monetary, they need to be. 72% of millennial donors average contribution amount per year is just under $500. So that's pretty substantial in comparison to others. It's encroaching onto kind of more the Gen X, which tends to be like the current top donor area. 84% of millennials prefer to give through online platforms. That's just driving home. If you do not have an easy online way of donations, or if you have events that have like flyers and you aren't directly pointing them to the donation page on your website, please do so. 68% of Gen Z donors have made multiple gifts for nonprofits over time. That's the re-engagement. Gen Z donors will, see an ad for a shelter or stumble across a social media post that they'll go donate money, donate items, move on. If they do not get a follow-up, they're not going to be reoccurring, but they are reoccurring donors. So you do want to engage them, make sure that they keep continuing to donate to your specific cause in your community. And then 79% of millennials gave to charitable organizations in 2023. Data is always trailing a couple of years. It's still tracking this way, but just showing you that is a huge chunk of a specific generation that is absolutely all about giving to charities. So all this to drive home, they're becoming increasingly more important donors, and you should be adapting to that shift if you haven't already, because there's 141 million opportunities out there. to help your community and help kind of push you forward. If you haven't seen the study, Managing Donor Defection by Adrian Sagant, highly recommend you look into it. It's a little bit dated, but all of it still applies. Basically, it's just showing donor attrition, what causes people to leave. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but just looking at the top 4, you can see there's some that are completely out of an organization's control. It's just life. I can no longer afford my support. They pass away. There's really nothing you can do for that. Relocation, though, I feel like the organization there that other causes are more deserving, or X organization didn't acknowledge my support. That's 100% on the organization's follow-up process, in my opinion. So what it really boils down to is, outside of items that can't be controlled, like death and financial difficulty, donor retention and donor engagement lies solely on the organization. And then poor communication really is the root cause of donor defection. So again, just want to give my 2 cents that you take away something from here. If you don't have like a re-engagement process in place with anyone who's provided anything to your organization, highly recommend that it's on your roadmap for like the remainder of the year, because you've gone through all the effort to get that initial donation, that initial engagement from someone. Don't let it just kind of dissipate and disappear somewhere else. So I'll get off my marketing soapbox and dive into a tour of mindful giving here. All right. So hopefully you still see my screen. I'm going to start with Ronald McDonald House of Greater Cincinnati, just as like a sample to show you what I mean by we park it on a subdomain. So with this is their wish list landing page. They receive a lot of drop-off donations. So they have instructions on that. But when you click on wish list, it brings you out to their mindful giving site. Okay, and so this is branded. It has their logo, their color schemes, and it's parked on wishlist.rmhcincinnati.org. We can absolutely park it on whatever you'd like, whether it's giving, mindful, wish lists. We can put it on your site. Now, if you have like a .gov site and that kind of makes it complicated, we can just spin up a completely separate website for you as well, or just park it on a .mindfulgiving.org. So there's multiple options. Now, I am going to jump over to our newer version. It's a lot more cleaned up. This literally is brand new as of basically a week or so ago. So this demo, I kind of structured it a little bit so it applies a little bit more to your organizations. If a new leaf is in here, I did kind of borrow some of your images to put on this as an example. So this is kind of the landing page that people would be going and directing to. There's multiple different ways that you can adjust this internally as well. So we do have options to where it'll be like a title card with your main campaign, with a drop-down menu of your others. So just know that this isn't fixed. This can be adjusted, and then you can fully control the header, footer, background images, button colors on the back end. So you can change it based on kind of what campaigns that you're running. Now, this section is just a content block. You're going to have your primary call to action, really kind of tug at the heartstrings and let people know what this is going towards. And then all your campaigns will be listed down here below. Now, with each one of these campaigns, because you control the description, the image, the delivery location, these can be positioned as just kind of general campaigns. So this is a childcare and educational campaign, or it could be positioned as locations or programs if those are what you're supporting. So this one, as an example, is a high school doing a toy drive for Dayton Children's Hospital. All the items will be fulfilled directly to Dayton Children's Hospital. And then you can have an email message that when the thank you note with receipt sends out, maybe it has like a little blurb from the high school or the hospital in there. So just kind of planting the seed or getting your wheels turning on how these can be positioned. Now, this is all tied through Amazon's API. We get that all set up for you to where it's tied to your Amazon business account. So all the images, descriptions, pricing will pull through. So as I mentioned, if you're part of a program that has discounted rates, you can pass that along to the donors. And then as you can see here, you can assign quantity limits to these as well. So if you have limited space, if you only need a certain amount of items, you can set a limit. And then once it hits 0, it'll pull from your catalog. Other than that, it's pretty much just defaulted to 0. The checkout process for the donors is extremely easy. It's basically a 3-step checkout process like you'd see on a Best Buy or a Target. Add items to cart. They can add extra cash donations here. And then as you just saw, it does a final check on pricing and availability just to make sure that everything is in stock. Because at the end of the day, Amazon is a marketplace. Prices change, Prime Day happens and prices adjust, items go out of stock. So we want to make sure that the donor is actually able to donate something for the exact cost versus, potentially having it back ordered and you don't receive that item. Now, to show you kind of the addition of cash and what that looks like, it just shows as another line item on their order. So this is where you can really dive in and drive home being able to optimize your in-kind donations. On the actual campaign level, there is the ability to add a title card or like an item card as well that is just a cash donation. So if there is something that is not really on Amazon, I'll give an example of, like, say you're doing a furniture drive for revamping one of your like local shelters. That's obviously items that you aren't really going to find on Amazon in the quantities that you're looking for, most likely. So you could just put a card with an image of like the beds that you plan on purchasing and say shelter furniture fund $100, and it's just $100 cash donation people can add in. Again, going back to that Gen Z millennial, they prefer donating tangible items because they know exactly where that dollar amount's going to, instead of just a straight cash donation where it kind of leaves it a little bit open-ended with a question mark on exactly where those funds are going. This is the final checkout step for the donor. They'll enter their payment information. There is a marketing opt-in as well, so you follow compliant with canned spam laws when you do re-engage them, and then they pay and confirm. Once that's completed, that's the end of the donor journey. They receive the email receipt, custom note, and thank you, and then they're on their merry way, and it's up to you to re-engage with them. So I'm logging into the back end to show you really quickly the dashboard and some of the navigation. So with logins as well, if the question does come up, unlimited amount of logins and users for this. It's not just like a single admin that's able to log in. You can have different users with different permissions. Your dashboard is going to just show as like a health check. So it'll show how many campaigns you have, how many products you have live, total users you've set up, and how many addresses are in your address book. This will evolve to have kind of quick little highlights instead of having to download all the donor information, where maybe it'll show your top donors or top purchase products. So you can kind of just see those at a glance. All your campaigns will be listed here as kind of like a card. It'll have all the information on where it's shipping to, what email they're going to be receiving. There's unique identifiers if you need to add PO numbers based on kind of what drive that you're doing. And then creating campaigns is incredibly easy. You just enter the title, description, assign where it needs to ship and what email it needs to send out, and then add an image. From there, you just assign products to it. When the products are assigned, this is where you can edit the quantity limits. It'll show you how many have been donated. If there is a quantity limit, it'll show how many are remaining on that as well. So again, at a quick glance, if you're doing a drive for like 50 of these soccer balls, you can pop in and see, okay, we're at 49, and it'll continue to count down. On that note, for products, I'm going to jump over to products and inventory to show you how that gets added. Most common is going to be exporting a list and then just putting in the ASINs or the Amazon product number. So as Leon mentioned, there's specific lists that you can get discounts on. If you want, you could just export those lists and then paste them in here and use them as your inventory. Or if you just need to add a couple items, super easy. You can search Amazon directly from the back end of this platform as well. It does pull through a couple of the tags. So like most popular, #1 bestsellers. I do know that it also is on the roadmap to integrate a couple of the items Leon mentioned as well, of like minority-owned business, women-owned business, local. So we can really drill it down to where if you do have local vendors, you're supporting your community there as well. So that is on the roadmap, not currently available, but I thought I'd mention that because at the core of it, I know you want to help community-based. If you need to see anything on specific items, there's a link directly to the Amazon page as well. So you can pop out, confirm you're getting a discounting, confirm it's a Prime product, all that good stuff. Once items have been added, it's in your inventory. And then you can assign them directly to campaigns from here or vice versa. This is also where you'd add that conventional product, just like the straight cash item, like the furniture fund, as I was mentioning. And then you can add products directly from here as well. Addresses, this is just going to be your address book. You don't enter the addresses at the campaign level. This will mitigate some typo issues. So once the address is in, you know exactly where it's going to be. You don't need to add these on your Amazon business account. I will mention that it pulls through and identifies via the API. So you can handle everything through here. Users, this is where you can go in and actually add users specifically based on your needs. So if you're doing I'll circle back to the toy drive for a local hospital. If you want them to be in charge of what items are on there, you could enter them and assign them as a campaign manager that is assigned specifically to that campaign. So when they log in, they only have access to edit that. They won't see any of your order information, anything along those lines. And then here at the core of it, donor information. So it's not going to have every single field across the board here because there are quite a few. It does export into a standard CSV file, so you can import it directly into your donor management systems, your financial systems, marketing, and it's broken out in a way that it should kind of apply to all. Whether you're financial or your marketing, we should have a column kind of broken out. And I do have a sample here. So it'll have all the PO numbers, order IDs, delivery, campaign names, so you can segment it out. But also it does have separate columns for total product value. This is going to be the in-kind donation amount. This is going to be the cash donation, and then grand total. So again, so finance can break it out. Or in marketing, if you want to re-engage those that have donated cash on top of the others, you're able to kind of segment that list out as well. It also has the all items broken out into the report as well, and it's separated by semicolon. So if you do need to separate all the items out into rows for people that have ordered multiple, you can just kind of work through that function on Excel and separate by semicolon. And then a couple little things. So this is the landing page where you can change the layout of the home page. I'm going to switch it to featured with drop-down menu just to show you how quickly that changes. So it's all the same exact cards that were there previously, but in a drop-down menu. And then there's a couple more. And then same thing with color scheme. You can go in and adjust this however you see fit. So if you want to adjust it for like holiday drives, you can change the colors. Most typically stay with their standard branding, but if you want to get creative with it, you can. So that's pretty much it with a tour of it. There is a cost associated with it. Mention this webinar when you reach out to me, and I'll be sure that I can get you a discount. But we have packages that start as low as about like $50 per month, but it's going to be kind of dependent on your use case in this regard. And then for getting things set up, just because I know holiday season's right around the corner and there's probably going to be a lot of drives. It is really the giving season. We can get these set up really quickly, couple days if we have all the pieces in place. But I do say anticipate about a week from start to finish. So if we schedule a demo relatively soon, I'd anticipate that if we move pretty quickly, we can get you up in a week or two. So relatively quick in that sense. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I believe Rebecca is going to be taking over.
Yes, thank you so much to both Leon and Brian. Can you all see my slides? Great. Again, thank you to Leon and Brian for sharing such pertinent information, not only about Amazon, but about donation drivers / mindful giving. And also thank you to all of our registrants for joining us today. Just a few professional development highlights before we go. We've got some upcoming NCAP events. So our annual convention is going to be August 27th through 29th in Detroit, Michigan. While we are there, there will also be the Community Action Data Convening, which is the 25th and 26th. There will be the Weatherization Energy Summit, which is just August 26th. And then the new Executive Directors Institute, which is also August 26th. If you have questions about the data convening, the Energy Summit, or the new Executive Directors Institute, please feel free to reach out to us if you have questions about the convention in general. You can also send an email to membership@communityactionpartnership.com. And speaking of contact information, here is the information for all of the NCAP membership team. You can send an email out to any of us, and we would be happy to answer those questions for you. We hope to have all of you on a future NCAP webinar, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you so much.